roaming the wondrous earth.
Ah, let us gladly leave the desert sands as a forgotten wish, and stop at the stream to catch some fish, and after eating them, give thanks and relax on the riverbank. Here are kisses on your cheek, a few. I have such peace with you. I am safe and warm with you, and completely at home too.
I am in heaven so bright.
I wonder what the mythical light of heaven would be like.
Well, as a metaphysical question, Zykes, I can't really answer it, but I can describe what some legends say it is, and then I can talk about some things that we may know about. From the myths I've heard, true, heaven is a place where you can have anything that you want to, where your every wish and dream comes true, where you're always surrounded by love and lovelies, and where you can live foreverly in a state of perpetual ecstasy. I realize that I'm not describing it very well thought. I've almost made its plot rather decadent, have I not?
It's a fair but invented description, and if true, it would be a glorious benediction. It may or not be so, there's no way we can know. However, while we're here on earth, if we live in life's glory and worth, we can swim in the same pond. No need to wait for the dim promise of beyond, for those distant drums can't be heard. Well, enough of that for now, of the word, but let's talk it through afterward.
Here's a romantic puzzle for fun. Tell me, how much is 1 plus 1?
Well, I know it could not be 2 because if the question was that easy, you wouldn't be asking it of me to do.
True, what do we two add up to?
Now I know. Before we met, we were each as one, isolated each in our vocation and studies with little fun, but now we're worth much more together unlone than we could ever be alone. We add up to even more than 2 lone, because we are each an input to the other's zone, sharing our minds, hearts, souls, and senses giving. And that synergy accounts for the extra quantity of living. And it doesn't stop there, since, as we each improve, we can give that much more in return, to move to the other, and to the world in turn.
Then we'll add up to even more return. It is proof, my dear, verily. 2 people together are greater surely than 1 plus 1 alone, really.
In this life of mine, love never would have happened had I continued the way I was going. I never had time for life's beauty. I couldn't even read a verse, or so I thought duly. I was too busy for friends or giving. You might say that life was lost in the living. Now I've simplified it. I've started anew. I've reversed it.
And now, my partner, what more could we ask for?
We have it all and even more.
Yes, we have sunshine, breezes, love, adventure, water, the good earth, friendship, all of nature. All of the elements are there. Life is a mixture of earth, fire, water, and air.
Earth is a garden, an oasis in space, a world of boundless beauty and grace. One might search in vain the heaven's space for the equal of the earth's place, but never find it anywhere or any place.
You've discovered me at a good time, darling. I was once all caught up with technical whirlings, quite the stern classicist Sterling, droning onward toward mechanical perfection. Then I swung too far in the other direction, becoming an opiate romanticist as my option, drowning in its amazement and stupefaction.
Didn't we all?
Then I eventually learned that the path was not this way or that, but of a joined direction, one that combines romanticism and classicism.
Ah yes, all things are interrelated together, and thus must melt into one another. Nothing can really be isolated as on a shelf, completely separated from anything else.
True, the yin is in the yang and the yang is in the yin, ever turning and blending in a cyclical rotation never ending. That's a rounded life for you.
Most importantly, we are here now, for the kicks. Sometimes I visualize myself as old or sick, looking back at the better ticks, even telling myself that I'd make a pact, anything, to have the good times back. Then I laugh and smile because of that pine, for I know that I'm pretending that line since I am indeed young and fine.
And, I add with a rhyme, you'll never again live this life of thine.
So, we meander on, a pleasant ride, fancying that we are not alive, but then smiling because we thrive. Fresh and mild are the hours, born like cleansing showers, and so we retrieve as ours all of the winged hours that time has devoured.
Ah, Angelina, the book opens to the page of breath and death. Yes, for as we walk abreast, the peace of the forest is being shattered by the sound of people bickering and quarreling away in a much too common way. We approach the noise, but the people just stare at us, unpoised.
Fighter 1, save your breath 2. Don't tell us what to do. Fighter 2, don't meddle.
We're having a fight. Oh, brother.
That's funny and lame, for what you just said to me is just the same that I was going to say to you. Save your own breath too, that breath which is between death and you. Don't expend it on fighting sprees. Fighting saps your energy and undoes love's promise. Your breath is dear and precious, so enjoy all that life can give ere comes death. Yelling drives people away, a few left. Soft and gentle voices whispering even brings them close. Tell them more, my dear, that's pleasin'. There are large worlds of life to live in, but here you are, trapped in that tiny cell of arguments, resentments, and animosities, wasting all your breath therein. Stand back and realize life's total space, and note that quarreling occupies but a small place in what can be accomplished by the human race. So, if you're not busy living, then I guess you're busy dying.
So, if you're not busy living, then I guess you're busy dying. All the world's riches cannot extend the power which drains the cup and withers the flower. What would be the price of wasted breath, purchased at the final hour, from the hand of death?
Loving is what this life is all about. To have it is to live it all out. Then why, oh why, do you not seek it out?
Fighter 1 relents. Somehow, fighting doesn't seem appropriate anymore, so we quarrelers will stop from doing it anymore.
Let's hope the complaint department remains closed, I remark.
Peter, let us love intimates continue on down the trail, now and then reading verses beyond the pale, from the mysterious book of lively tales.
Of what life and love are made of is the next page. So we'll amble along the path, ever singing, now pretty much ready for just about anything.
Peter, maybe we're not ready.
Here is yet another hapless person, one who seems to be searching for something yon. Curiously, he's riding on an ox and chasing butterflies, trying to connect the dots.
Where are life and love? I'm a rider, looking all over the place for that refreshing cider.
Well, what are you looking for in particular?
I'm looking for life's flight, as a dove, while trying to capture the butterfly of love.
There's nowhere else to look for life's impact except in what you are doing now, in fact, right where you are at. You must experience the wonder vast and the mystery of life's pact in every single act. Chasing intensely after life, romance, hot or butterflies, is a lot like riding on an ox while looking for an ox. Life and romance are all around you, not nil, they're right here. Relax, be still, then on you will alight the butterfly of love, for that's the touch that romance is made of. As for life, it grows in the various cracks of day from the seeds you plant along the rocky way. Like an artisan, mix your work and play, all the while nurturing all with love's sway. Then you can harvest life's bouquet. Let us move on, feeling more lively. And so it is that we'll taste the life that is sweet, without the sour. as we while away the hours, for our souls met in the bower, through love's great power. Angeline eyes the flowers.
Here are some roses. One speaks.
Rose, I am the rose and I am here staying.
We are surprised beyond our noses when speak the roses.
So, Rose, you've just arrived?
Rose, yes, it is now and I am here.
Where did your sun come from?
Rose, once I was buried in the soil. It was my darkest hour, burning my oil, for the world around me was cold and lifeless. I was only a seed then, no less. Then some spirit, which I can't begin to decipher, started me to bud. So as a wild flower, I burst from the soil of toil, becoming radiant, alive, and so full of power as you now see me. I prosper. Even the weeds cannot touch my flower.
What shall we call you? She asks, perhaps in vain, hoping for a clue to the book's questionable name.
And so begins our journey with a simple yet profound question.
What's your nom de plume, your name?
I'm satisfied, I say, so let's walk on, unbowed, living in the here and now, for there is nowhere and no when else, nor how.
What could be the name of the rose?
What could be the name of the rose?
What is the name of the rose?
Maybe, but that would be quite a funny name.
Unless it was some sort of a trick question playing.
Here are some roses, one speaks some sayings.
I am the rose and I am here, staying.
I say, we're surprised, beyond our noses, when suddenly to us speak the roses.
Where did your rosy life come from? I ask.
Once I was a sparkling, buried in the soil. The world around me was cold and lifeless. I was only a seed then, yet, no less. Growth, which I can't begin to decipher, started me moving, so, as a wild flower, I burst from my soil of toil, full of power, radiant, glowing. Weeds can't touch my flower.
What shall we call you?
She asks, half in vain, as a clue to the book's questioning name. What's your nom de plume, your ungiven name?
It's not that easy, as in giving name, you must learn my name through wisdom's living, I can't simply reveal it to wishing.
I'm satisfied, I say. So let's walk on, in the name of the rose we might seize upon.
We're unbowed, living in the here and now, for there is nowhere, no one else, nor how.
What could be the name of the rose?
What is the name of the rose?
Maybe, but that would be a funny name.
Unless it was a trick question made plain.
It's of truth, goodness, and beauty, the proof, as three are clearly seen within its roof, intertwined in the eternal triad. Woven into the perfect romantic braid, as the weft, warp, and woof, love's wave made, each different aspects of the all's respects.
Beauty's the reality of truth's meaning. Is this the name of the roses gleaming?
I don't know, but beauty blooms, for Ruth, as it were, like a rose from the well of truth. We think we hear the summer rose laughing and that we can even see it smiling. The rose speaks flowerly, of what is so.
We all die, but not all live, in the know. I live in my prime but for just a while. First, I'm flowering and free, as a child, but I'm fragile, and finally, forlorn, my petals torn, all that's left is the thorn. But while I live I am full of power, reigning as the queen of all the flowers. In my high time, among nature's flora, I'm the regent over all the bowers.
Here are some roses, one speaks. I am the rose and I am here, staying.
We are surprised, beyond our noses, when speak the roses. So, Rose, you've just arrived?
Yes, it is now and I am here.
Where did your son come from?
Once I was buried in the soil. It was my darkest hour, burning my oil, for the world around me was cold and lifeless. I was only a seed then, no less. Then, some spirit, which I can't begin to decipher, started me to bud. So, as a wildflower, I burst from the soil of toil, becoming radiant, alive, and so full of power. As you now see me, I prosper. Even the weeds cannot touch my flower.
What shall we call you? I ask, perhaps in vain, hoping for a clue to the book's questionable name. What's your nom de plume, your name?
It's not that easy, forgiving. You must learn my name through living. I cannot just simply reveal it to your wishing.
I'm satisfied. So let's walk on, unbound, living in the here and now, for there is nowhere, and no one else, nor how.
What could be the name of the rose?
What could be the name of the rose?
What is the name of the rose?
Maybe, but that would be quite a funny name.
Unless it was some sort of a trick question playing.